Welcome to Audience First, a podcast for tech marketers looking to break out of the echo chamber, to better understand their buyers, what motivates them, and what they hate that vendors do. It's time to unmute your mic. Are you ready? Welcome to another episode of Audience First. I have a very special guest on today, the one and only Rob Dalzell. So I asked this previously for another guest. What's the origin of your last name?
It's Scottish.
Oh, so how do you say it in a Scottish accent?
DL. The two letters DL. DL.
DL? That's how you pronounce it in Scottish accent?
DL. The first letter and the last letter. You just
How does that
swallow
make
it.
sense? I'm trying to
It's
What?
Scottish. I can't explain it either. It's Scottish.
Oh, that's cool.
I met an elderly woman from Scotland, and I tried to pronounce it Dalzell, and she looked at me like I was nuts.
Rob DL, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
Okay, so Rob, tell me, who are you, what do you do, and why the hell do you do it?
Who am I? I'm a husband, a father, a brother, a friend, a teammate. There's a lot of things I am. I get paid by a large financial institution to be a business information security officer. So I'm an officer too, I guess you could say. I do it for a couple different reasons. At least the paid part of what I do is to make a living, to keep the lights on, buy food, pay the bills, get money for retirement, that sort of thing. On a grander scheme, I'd like to think that I work in information security to make the world a little bit safer.
I love it. That's a very common theme on this podcast. So,
Really?
yeah.
That's
I mean,
interesting.
most people are in this for a broader mission of protecting people, helping people,
Yep.
and some sort of masochistic reason of just solving very complex problems. But
I am just one small cog in a big organization, in a big industry, whether it's financial services or just cybersecurity in general. If I'm protecting the organization I work with from some vulnerability, it might keep a bomb going off from a city in the Middle East.
yeah,
That you have no idea exactly what's going to happen when you do the right thing. And so I try to do that. The company I work with is based in the United States, but we've got a worldwide presence, and we're big enough to where if bad things happen to us, they can happen to a whole lot of other people too.
so
And the
so
ripple effect could be pretty important.
yeah, so I'm not going to dig into the specifics with regards to your organization, but I do want to pull on that thread a little bit because the listenership for Audience First podcast, we have a lot of veterans, not just veterans from a military sense, but veterans who have been in this space for quite some time. And
Yep.
we also have a lot of newbies, people who are venturing into the cybersecurity industry from a seller's perspective or from a marketing perspective, and also from a practitioner's perspective. I want to talk a little bit more about how that works or how that presents itself, right? The organizational threat as it applies to a global threat to the population. Like, what does that kind of look like? And again, don't give me the specifics with regards to your organization because I understand the sensitivity there. Can you shed a little bit of light there, what that means and the implications for all of us?
Yeah, I'll try to. I'll try to be as clear as I can. So we're large enough that if things went south with our organization, we had a breach, it could have affect the economy in the United States. People could lose jobs. I don't really see us as saving lives per se, even though I said it a couple of moments ago with the bombing possibility in the Mideast, but there are real results to bad things happening in our organization. And I'm not the person at the top of the organization making all the decisions. It really is, I'm sure you've heard before, a team sport.
Mhm.
We all have a certain role that we have to play, and
Mhm.
it's important that we do it right and do it quickly and make the right decisions.
I love that you mentioned that, and I've been trying to tell this to people without sounding unfortunately I unfortunately say it like this, but without sounding too cheesy. We are dealing with some really scary threats that could impact the course of our lives. When I tell people why I love this industry so much, and I don't wanna say industry, let's just say space, because industry implies that it's about the profit. But look, we all need to eat at the end of the day, but there's a
Yeah,
broader mission to what you're saying, right? We're in this for the mission.
that's right.
Yeah, and so I love that, and I appreciate you shedding more light on that. Now, in terms of the industry, I wanna know what do you hate most about it?
That's a great question because I don't like the word hate. And I'm really thankful that I have a good paying job. And
Mhm.
I'm thankful that I have a job that I feel like makes a difference.
Yeah.
I can't really say that I hate anything about my industry. There are things that frustrate me. People who don't answer emails, people who ping pong an email back and forth for half a day. The email subject line has nothing to do with the body of the email. I don't like wasting time. So these are things that I dislike about what I'm doing. Of course, working for a very large organization, you've got bureaucracy. Frankly, I'd probably rather be taking raw wood and build a wooden boat and sailed out in the ocean and have fun that way. And it'd be great if I could get paid really well for doing it. I don't need to go fast in a boat. I just want to get out there and get away from the wires with my cell phone and my computer
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
Oh, I remember just a sidetrack here. The best night's sleep that I've had were when I was out after I was out on the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get in that fresh air, whew, that knocks you out for a good 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't say the same about sitting in front of a computer for eight,
Ugh,
10 hours
no,
a day.
it does the opposite.
Yeah, it does.
It keeps you awake.
It does.
So you mentioned dislikes in general about a lot of communication styles, but let's go in a little bit deeper on your role as the business information security officer. What
Mhm.
is it as the BISO that is your one bleeding neck challenge? Like the one thing right now in your role specifically that's keeping you awake at night apart from your computer and the wires.
Patching, patching.
Why is that?
Getting rid of old software, old hardware that shouldn't be out there, that's risky.
Mhm.
And people saying, "We can't patch it. We don't have the time. We don't have the money. If we unplug that application, we're gonna be losing millions of dollars of revenue." And it's just this debt that we keep on building up on ourselves that is frustrating for me. Not everything has to be patched. There are some things that aren't as risky as others, but to have a vulnerability sitting out there, everybody knows about it and knows that it should get patched is frustrating for me.
Mhm.
That's I've never heard the term bleeding neck before, but I get the idea. Yeah,
Good.
we gotta patch that because we're losing a lot of blood.
Yeah. I learned that term from another marketer called Louis Grenier, who is he has and this is for the listeners as well, he has a podcast and a company called everybody hates marketers, which is fabulous. Really, it is. It's fabulous, and it's true, but I
Well
learned a
said,
lesson.
Lee. I
Yes.
appreciate that. I don't hate marketers. I really don't. And I use that as in a wide ranging comment because when I was thinking automatically sales development representatives or account executives or business development representatives. And I talk to them every single day.
Do you?
With the company I work for and the title I have, I receive emails every single day, and I'm not the type to just delete it and walk away.
Yeah.
I look at it and say, okay, this doesn't apply to me.
So you say
And I
no.
a lot of times I'll reply and say, thank you for reaching out. I appreciate the fact that you're doing something that's important, but it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with what I do.
Yeah, I
And
appreciate that.
if I had unlimited hours in the day and didn't have to worry about it, yeah, I'd love to take a meeting with you and learn about you, but we gotta be careful about our time because we only have a given amount of it, and I can't afford to give it all away.
Yeah. No, 100%. And I appreciate you that you do your best to answer back. No is super helpful for those sitting on the SDR or the AE side.
They're just trying to make a living. They're just
Yeah.
trying to make their mark, whatever it is.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I respect it.
Thank you. As the BISO, by the way, do people say BISO or is it business? Like, I don't know. I'm just going with
I
BISO.
I say BISO. Not everyone understands what the term means, but
Yeah.
I use the term BISO.
Okay.
I like to consider myself a bit of a translator where I'm explaining the information security concepts that they have to respect and try to put it in terms they can understand.
Who's they?
The lines of business that I support.
And who are they?
The institution I work for has 8 or 9 different lines of business. If you're a bank, you got a branch where people come in and deposit their check or fill out paperwork or like that. So a
Mhm.
checking account, a savings account,
Mhm.
place they put their money.
Mhm.
Um, and as they grow, they might own a business. They might own a business in multiple cities or multiple countries. They might grow their business in such that they have a huge presence and they can have a different business relationship. So that
Mhm.
talks about some of the different lines of business that are part of my organization. I try to translate the information security needs to them. And on the flip side, I have to understand what their business needs are. And I have to appreciate the fact that, yeah, we can't pull the plug on that application because people's bonuses are based on it and customers need to be able to deposit their money. And so I have to be able to look at both sides of the equation and try to juggle, make a decision on what's best for my organization.
Well, why? So I want to double click into that. Why is there a need for this bidirectional translation?
We can't just be the department of no
Mhm.
in information security. We have to say yes sometimes. We
Mhm.
have to look at the risk that's out there and say, yeah, we're not completely comfortable with leaving that problem unresolved. On the other hand, we're making a lot of money and we've got shareholders that are expecting us to make money. And we've got
Mhm.
customers that we need to serve. So there are some times when we can't have a perfect world from the information security standpoint and fix everything. We got to live with some things.
Beyond, needing to translate, security to the business,
Mhm.
what is your ultimate goal you're trying to achieve as, the BISO?
uh, to keep us off of the major newspapers. That's really what we don't want to get popped.
Yeah.
We want to continue making money. We want to
Mhm.
continue serving our customers. But the bottom line is we don't want to let the bad guys in. And we don't want to let the people within our own organization click that thing they shouldn't have clicked on. Or if they
Yeah.
do click on it, make sure that it doesn't have a bad impact to us.
Mhm. Okay. Take me back to the day when you decided to evaluate a solution that would allow you to protect people from clicking on that thing that you don't want to be clicked on.
I'll
What
I'll cha
happened?
I'll change it a little bit for you, and that
Okay.
is email encryption. Not everybody there's better now, but there was a time earlier in my career when, uh, very few people understood the inherent risk there is in sending an email.
Mhm.
Your mother sends you a note, said, "Oh, by the way, here's my Social Security number that you need for whatever."
Mhm.
And I gotta tell my mother, "Please don't send me your Social Security number in an email." Because it's just like a postcard, and
Yeah.
you don't want that postcard to go from Austin, Texas to Boston, Massachusetts, and everyone who sees that postcard says, "Oh, there's that Social Security number." So, there are encryption techniques that I've worked with that automatically encrypt an email.
Okay.
That was a real easy sell for me.
So what happened though before you started looking for an encryption solution?
We had to
What happened?
we had to remind people sending emails to put a small phrase in the subject line, the first 10 characters of the subject line of an email, and when
Mhm.
the email server saw that phrase, they said, "Oh, time to encrypt this email,"
Mhm.
which is effective until you forget to put that word in there or you misspell that word. So, we wanna do
So
things to make it easy for the possible violators to do the right thing.
why didn't you do it sooner?
We learned that
Mhm.
it wasn't working right, and maybe someone reminded us that, "Hey, you're not doing the right thing here," or
Mhm.
we had violations,
Mhm.
and we had to sit down and look at it and say, "How can we do this better?"
Take me through, what you did and thought about during that journey of looking for and evaluating an email encryption solution.
To the most part, it was feeling a pain,
Mhm.
seeing that we had violations, seeing that we had well-intended people who never had any thoughts that they might be doing the wrong thing. They were just doing their job. And we had to go back to them and say, "Hey, we saw this problem with this email you sent." And it was through discussions with them and other information security personnel within the organization that said, "Okay, it's too easy for people to make mistakes. We have to do it in such a way that they can't possibly make a mistake. That we either stop the email from being sent completely, or we take a step back and give them a warning that what you're about to send it looks private, it looks confidential, it looks like it should not be shared. Please
Mhm.
take a look and try to figure out a better way, or better yet, contact us. Let us step you through the steps." I don't want to punish people like the phishing emails that most companies are tested with these days. I hate to get to a point where a person's had 3 violations and they might lose their job because of it.
Mhm.
It's a tough balance. It really is. It's getting better.
So
It's
you
not as bad as it used to be, but it's getting better.
so you felt that pain, you feel that worry, you start looking for an email encryption solution. Let's go through that journey. Like, how do you go about doing that? Where do you go about researching them? What's the process to getting in front of those different kinds of solutions?
It's a combination, and I've been a part of information security only in a very large organization. I haven't been a part of an information security organization that has 5 information security professionals. The teams that I've worked with are in the thousands of information security professionals. So I've got a a really broad group of people that can share expertise with me, can share their
Wow.
experience. It's not like I'd be a part of a very small shop where we don't have the resources, we don't have the people with the experience to say, "I was over there and we did this and it really worked great for me." Or I was at a cybersecurity breakfast last week and we had a vendor come in and he told us all at this breakfast about their product.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of the experiences that people have had.
You're working so your organization, your security organization specifically,
Yeah.
that's large. That's a lot of people. And
Yep.
the tactics that we're told in B2B is, okay, you have to look at the pool of buyers, not just the one specific buyer that you need to target within an organization,
Yep.
but the whole pool, the influencer, decision maker, the users, the one who holds the purse. So you got to look at the CFO and you got to look at the board even.
Yep.
But I imagine, I know with thinking about this kind of strategy and tactic, it's like, how do we even figure out who we need to talk to in a pool of 1,000 plus professionals? What would be your advice for cybersecurity marketers and sellers when it comes to engaging with the buying committee
Wow, that
at
Danny,
at a
that is a
large organization?
I deal with that all the time,
Okay.
and it's a really tough question because
Mhm.
many of the executives that I work with hide from any public contact. They will instead of first name, last name on LinkedIn, if they have a LinkedIn profile, they might call themselves Danny W, Rob D, and they won't say what company they work for
Mhm.
because they are concerned about a lot of different things, social engineering, or just the nuisance of unwanted contact. I had a exchanged emails, and not even emails, LinkedIn messages with a business development representative yesterday who approached me about the product, have no idea what their product was. And I let them know pretty quickly that I don't have any responsibility for that area. I can't really help them. And the person came back and asked if they could have a name of someone they could talk to.
Mhm.
And I can't do that. I wish I could, but I really I can't provide that information. And I basically said you're gonna have to earn your money now. And
Mm.
you're a business development representative. And so you are going to have to use your brain on figuring out how you're going to get in contact with the right people and who that
Mhm.
person is. It's tough. And I feel for those of you in those roles because we don't make it easy for you.
I think there's a reason why it's not easy.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing that I do tell people, and I think it seems to resonate. So I'm a part of an organization in the town that I live in that has a cyber breakfast club. We meet once a month
Mm.
and we have a topic that we discuss, and usually we'll have a vendor who's there not to do a sales presentation, but to lead a discussion on how to encrypt email or how to patch
Mhm.
servers or whatever information security need we have.
Mhm.
And so we're in there and we're as a team and competing companies, but all in the same industry, cybersecurity, learning about what other people do.
Mhm.
So this other financial institution does this. Oh, they did it. Maybe we'll do it too. Or maybe we'll stay away from that company that other people are saying aren't providing the same value that they say they are.
Mhm.
So if I was a business development representative, if I was in marketing, I would think about opportunities like that where you've got a small group of people together in a non-sales environment where you're able to help lead a conversation or
Mhm.
participate in a conversation.
Gets me to thinking, as you mentioned that, and I hear it across the board. Yeah, these smaller communities, these smaller regional events, these offsites at the bigger trade shows are super powerful because of the ability to have those conversations. One, I think the challenge is like, how do we systematically train ourselves as sales professionals to have those authentic conversations? That's one thing. But the second thing on my mind is I've been a digital marketer all my life. And like, thinking about that, how do I make my job more relevant as a digital marketer, shifting away from the traditional pushing ads and trying to pull in conversations and pull in the demo requests and pull in the opportunities from the digital side to a more authentic approach that will resonate with hard to reach buyers like yourself. So there I think as we see traditional methods events still really prevalent, yet the way events should be done is differently. Traditional methods like digital, which yes, are traditional, even though it's more cutting edge, maybe, I don't know,
Yeah.
than an event,
Yeah.
still need to undergo a lot of shifts internally on the vendor side. So those things are on my mind as we have these
Yeah.
conversations.
I like getting in a room with people.
Mhm.
I like the lack of side distractions, the putting the phones down, putting the email down, being able to have a single focus on what's being presented right there, not in a crowded environment. I don't like the floors on big conferences. I'd much rather be in a more intimate environment where I can learn and really get to the project that we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I want to. I love that. I want to dig into that, but I want to shift the conversation back to the email market, or not the email marketing. No, God forbid. I want to shift the conversation back to the. Oh God, my mind is blanking now. Email. Oh shit. What was the product? Fucking a.
Email encryption?
Email encryption. I was like, email, not email authentication. Email encryption solution. Thank you, Rob, for keeping me sharp today. What kind of goes into the decision criteria of email encryption solutions, right?
Yeah.
Like what's going to get you to say, yeah, okay, we need this now.
Ease of use,
Mhm.
keeping the people sending the email safe without even having to think about it.
Yeah.
That just it's like we all hear, don't click the link. Don't click the link. We need to make it easier for people if they accidentally click the link to it not be a problem.
Yeah.
And the same thing, if they're sending that email that should be encrypted, it has to be caught immediately and sent right back to the user and said, wait a second, looks like you've got confidential information in here, private information.
Mhm.
You got to do something about this. So it has to be something that we don't have to have people sitting on the wall watching those emails going through and
Yeah.
stopping them. We need
Mhm.
the I'm I hate to use it, but I'm going to say artificial intelligence to capture that and bring it back in and allow the user to learn from the experience. And once they do it a couple times, they go, yeah, the right thing to do is to not send this information. Or if I do send the information, make sure it's done in the most secure way possible. So I'd want a product that eliminates the human mistake possibility.
What are some of the barriers to buying an email encryption solution?
It could be cost. It could be
Mhm.
lack of understanding, less so
Mhm.
now than it used to be. I think more people have an understanding of the inherent dangers of email, but cost, ease of use, lack of knowledge are the three barriers that I can think of.
Are there any differences or anomalies right now in the email security market or in general, maybe in the infosec market that we can learn from to take advantage?
I don't have enough knowledge to comment on that.
Okay.
There
All
probably
right.
are, but I really don't know enough.
Looking forward then, what changes or advancements in security are you most concerned about or maybe even planning for?
That's a tough one. I believe that quantum computing is going to change things quite a bit.
Mhm.
I have and I'm not near enough a deep thinker when it comes to this, but and there are plenty of way smarter people than I am out there that have a strong understanding of what quantum computing is going to do for us, how it's going to help us, and how it's going to hurt us, how a
Mhm.
password that we thought was secure can be cracked very quickly. So I think quantum is something that we have to be aware of. It's the second time I've said it in the last 5 minutes, but artificial intelligence, and I'm sick to death of it, but I also respect that it's something that we have to embrace. Those two things come to mind immediately. I started a conversation today talking about patch management, and it is imperative that we make sure that people understand the need to patch that outdated software and keep your devices current. And I truly believe that it's gonna be more and more prevalent, but it's still an uphill battle right now for us.
I wanna shift the conversation to one of my favorite parts of the podcast. Not that I don't love this initial conversation, but this is the shit list. What's the worst thing that you've experienced from a vendor? Go.
People that repeatedly send the same message to me and have no thought at all in it. I An hour ago, I got a message in my LinkedIn messages from a vendor that copied their message from May 17th and said, I didn't see you on May 17th. There's still a reason for us to talk. And I responded to that email or that note on May 17th and said, this is not a part of my responsibility. And I had to send the same message to him.
Oh, man.
I'm active in a lot of different places and got business relationships with a lot of different information security companies.
Mhm.
And I was reached out by a marketing organization that wanted me to sit in a series of 20-minute calls over a 5-hour period with five of 20 vendors they listed for me.
There are services for that. Did you
Yeah,
opt
yeah,
into
yeah,
that?
yeah, but yeah, no, I had participated in them before, and I sent them a note back and said, "I don't see anybody in this list that I really have a burning need to meet."
Yeah.
And they contacted me a month later and said, "Okay, we're setting up your interviews now." And I said, I told you I didn't wasn't interested." And they said, "Okay, we're gonna have to charge you for this."
Oh, what? What?
Yeah, yeah, they
Okay.
wanted to charge
Send
me
send me send me
a
this organization offline, Rob. I gotta know who these people are.
Yeah, they wanted me to pay them, because I was canceling at the last moment on something I'd canceled, 45 days before.
Yeah, that's a
So
little.
so it's lack of communication. It I want
Oh, man.
clean, crisp emails. I would love it if people in the marketing world that bring in their SDRs, BDRs, I would love it if they spent more time training them because the soft skills are really, really important. It is really surprising how many people they send out there to send those barrage of emails to you, and they're not properly trained on what they're doing.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. So I've been in marketing all my life. I'm also in sales because I have my own business, so I have to do sales. The
Hmm.
best school that I had in doing marketing and sales was to actually go through, like, live simulations
Sure.
and just learn how to do it like, with actors. That was the best thing that I've ever done, and it allowed us to actually work on those soft skills. We
Well,
went
that's what.
through the process, and we went through different talking points and communication methods. So valuable.
Yeah, that's why sports teams practice.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, and you'd
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that,
you
it would
gotta
be applied.
practice it. Yeah, the being new as a business development representative may not come naturally to everyone, and there
Yep.
are certain techniques that are gonna make you more effective. Another thing that drives me crazy is this. People
Oh,
just
talk yeah, you looking at the phone while you're
yeah,
in a meeting?
yeah, get put the phone down,
Yep.
get rid of it. That text message, that email is not that important, and I don't care how smart you are.
That's disrespectful.
Yes, disrespectful, and there's no way that I can talk and listen to you and read a text and an email at the same time.
Okay, wait, I don't understand. Because you're not the first person who said this. People actually they finally got a meeting with you, which takes a shitload of time to do anyway and is so
Yep,
damn hard, and then they're on
yep.
their phone? What what the hell, people?
Yeah, I look at colleagues of mine, and it might not be people that I work directly with, but it might be information security practitioners that are
Mhm.
getting pitched by a vendor, and people that should be paying attention to this person who just bought us a nice dinner or treating us to a good demonstration of their product. Put the phone down and listen and give them your attention.
There's the alternative, people. Follow those steps. I
Yeah.
wanna flip it on its head. What's one thing a vendor has done that had made you feel good? What worked for you?
Plus one.
What is that?
So I get opportunities a couple times a week to learn about a company's product, email encryption, software patching, just because we've been talking about this up to this point. And I have developed good relationships with information security people in my community.
Mhm.
And I got to call my wife and say, "Hey, I'm going out to the cybersecurity presentation tonight. I won't be home for dinner." But it's wonderful when that vendor says, "Hey, this is a plus one event. You can bring your spouse to this."
Mm.
And so I come home and say, "Honey, we don't have to cook dinner tonight. We're going to go out and we're going to get a drink and we're going to learn about cybersecurity and you're going to get bored out of your mind, but you're going to learn a little bit about what I do and we get to hang out together and it's a good way to spend time."
I like that. That's beautiful. That's a
Yeah.
really good piece of advice, by the way, because you're saying that the events work. Why not bring the significant other and have them bond?
Yeah.
By
Yeah.
the way, my wife has still 6 years in, has no idea what I do. That's for sure. And I'm all over I'm on online, on social, like, still, she has no idea what I
Yeah.
do. So,
Yeah.
I would
No,
love to be invited and bring her along.
so if you're a vendor out there, remember plus one. You're going to get more people in your calls.
There you go. I love it. That is the culmination of this episode. Rob, we are headed towards the end of the session. I do wanna know, is there anything you wanna impart in the audience today before we sign off?
Couple things. Keep learning. Do whatever you do, keep learning. If you want to learn about bicycles and you want to become a cyclist, learn about cycling. If you want to be able to hit a target with accuracy, learn how to shoot a bow and arrow and learn how to do it better. I got a guitar over there that I don't play, but I want to, but it's one of those things that gets kept pushing to the background. So what I'm trying to say is learn. Yeah, spend as much of your time as you can learning. And the other thing I would like to impart to people is to help other people.
Mm,
Uh, I do that a lot. I'm a soccer referee. I'm not very fast, or not as fast as I used to be as a soccer referee, but I'm mentoring young soccer referees to become better, to blow their whistle louder, to run down the field quickly, to make instant decisions. So I'm helping the next generation of soccer referees.
right on.
And so I like helping people. I help the interns that come into our company and are learning about cybersecurity. I like to try to help those newbie business development representatives that contact me without a clue and aren't getting instructions from their team that, hey, I respect what you're doing and I understand you're just trying to make a living, but here's some hints on how you might be a little bit more effective in what you're doing. So
Right on.
help each other. That's
Uh,
pretty important stuff.
I love it. That is absolutely inspirational. I don't think I've ever met a soccer referee, by the way, which is pretty cool.
It's an interesting situation. And one day I'll put a post out there about the similarities between cybersecurity and soccer refereeing. And
Mm.
there are similarities.
I'm gonna send you my article about the similarities between being a business to business marketer and a swimmer. So that might be interesting
There's
for you to
no
learn.
similarities between them.
You'll be surprised. Just
Well,
wait.
the same thing goes with soccer refereeing and information security.
That that
There are similarities.
hence the eyebrow raise and the large eyes. So yes, I would love to see that post coming down the pike. Rob, this has been an absolute pleasure. You are always welcome to the show.
Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this. It's a real honor for me to be here with you.
Right on. I appreciate it as well. And thank you again for joining us.
You bet.
Thanks, everybody. This has been another episode of Audience First. We are out.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Audience First. If you like what you've heard, feel free to follow or subscribe to Audience First on Apple, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcast streamers.